All right, here I come. Yeah. All right, boys and girls. We're going to turn this up. All right, can you see me? Yes, you can. There it is. Look at that. It's got my big-ass nose. This nostril doesn't work. Isn't that fun? Yay. All right. So if you want, my screen is plugged in. You can go to it now. And here's what we're going to do. I'm still trying to slow roll this. I had some people tell me in person in Vegas, they love the new stand-up portion of this. But the problem is it won't be so great for the audio podcasters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and split the difference. Some of this you're going to have to see with me standing up. Some of it you're just going to have to, you won't necessarily have to. I'm going to give you what I can in broad strokes from an auditory standpoint, and then there are going to be some visual components here as well. Do we have this up? What's the word? Working on it? When we unplug it and plug it back in? Let's try that. Let's give it the old college try. Huh? That should work. No? That's a problem, isn't it? Tell you what, while they're figuring that out, let me give you some of the broad strokes, if we can. It worked earlier. All right. A couple of things here. What I have on video, if I get an opportunity to show here, is a couple of things. I'm going to get to that first takedown sequence that Khabib went to in the first round. And you could go back and you could show the right hand he dropped Conor with, where he fakes the shot and then comes over the top, the blinding speed that he had. You could go to some of the third round stuff with Conor McGregor having the 2-on-1 on the fence, and that doing a really good job of keeping Khabib from advancing position. And then the other part I had, though, is I just had that first round takedown and then the fourth round, which eventually led to the end, because to me that really was the whole story. But here are some of the broad strokes that I think are worth talking about. Number one, I've seen some debate about this. Folks were like, Conor fought well. Conor fought poorly. What's the truth? The answer here, and I've really struggled with how to explain this, but the best way to say it is Conor fought well in parts, but was basically overmatched almost everywhere it appeared. And here's the bigger lesson for me is not only did he fight well in parts and was slightly overmatched, but when Frankie Edgar gets tired, let's say Frankie Edgar's fully fresh, here's his level of ability. When he gets tired, he's kind of down to here a little bit. When McGregor gets going, he's up here. When he gets tired, it's on the floor. He is a significantly different fighter when he gets tired. Khabib was saying he was going to go in there and smash him. He was going to go in there and make him tired because he taps all the time. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, look at that. I'm not going to sit here and say that that McGregor is a front runner. I don't think that's true. I think he's shown heart, particularly in the second Diaz fight, to come back out. He looked good early in the fourth. But as I mentioned, did he fight well in parts? Yeah, he fought well in parts, but he was basically overmatched. That was really the core issue here. So, the point I want to kind of drive home about this, if I may, is in addition to the fact that he's a significantly compromised fighter when he's tired, this is going to be something that we're just going to have to confront as a real, true, unadulterated weakness at this point. Conor McGregor has much better wrestling than I think some folks give him credit. Conor McGregor has much better cardio. I should say he has much better commitment to being tired than I think folks give him credit. But in the end, if you can get him tired, he's just not the same. He's not the same. So Khabib comes out laterally moving side to side, right? And he comes in. I'm going to show you on this video if we can find a way to get it to work. Unfortunately, we're working through that now. I see old Joe down there looking at sweating bullets down there, huh, Joe? This is a live video, son. Point being is he was going laterally side to side, right? And if you actually watch the first shot, he actually dives in on the left side. McGregor's standing, he's standing actually a little bit with his left leg forward. McGregor sprawls, which forces a late switch on the part of Khabib to go to the other leg, and then the scramble ensues. Man, McGregor did really well there. He did really, really well there. I'm going to show you that hopefully in just a second. He was out there showing tremendous stuff. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. Folks were saying, he'd been training a year for Khabib. A year is not enough. It's just totally not enough. It can't be. He was able to do pretty well through the first series of takedown attempts in open space. But once the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth level of it all began to reveal itself, that's when all the problems, that's when all the chinks in the armor, so to speak, began to show up. What are we going to do here? What's the word, Joe? You gonna try something? It's not working? No? No, because I have to be able to see it. There's no dice on this? Boy, this is terrible, huh? All right, well, so there's no dice on this? Oh, y'all are killing me. This is an, you know what are you gonna do? You know what it is? It's my life. That's what it is. Can we put it back on this one? Yes, thank you. Well, dagger. Let me think here on my feet about what to do. Dun, 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 dun. Hey! You know what you can do? You can try, to get my other laptop. Will that work? No, because I don't have the video on this one. Well, that's a nightmare. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This is a hopeless mess. Wow. What are we gonna do? All right, well, fuck it. Let me think here. How do I want to salvage this on my feet if there's any way to do that? Let's see. Let me think here out loud. Let me say this. Let me just go through this footage in my head for just a second if I can. I want you to imagine the first takedown sequence. I'm actually not going to give up on this. You know what? I'm going to fucking push through is what I'm going to do. Hear me out for just a moment. Hear me out. Let me do this. Hear me out for just a moment. Okay. What is so important about this? I have to get through this. I can't, even though I don't have the visual aid. Yeah? First takedown sequence. Khabib shoots far outside. He dives for the right side, can't get it, actually ends up on the left. This is where McGregor looked his best. And you're going to see McGregor do a couple of things. He's going to never get himself to a hip, because once he gets to a hip, he's in trouble. He's always got that inside hook to the far side of McGregor's leg, of Khabib's leg, McGregor does. Because if he has that, he can't be taken down to a hip or turned over. And you're going to see him kind of block Khabib's arms from the one arm from coming across, because then he could just double off. It's called a crackdown. What Khabib was trying to do, from a high crotch to a crackdown, where you're just driving and almost turning to your hip. Khabib actually does not do a pretty good job of it. He went to the wrong leg. He had to switch at the last second. He tries to drive it down. He can't do it. And so what you end up seeing with him is McGregor defends it really well the whole time. But what Khabib did have, the hands locked. And when he has the hands locked, the strength in that position when your arms are out here to drive it here, his is unparalleled amazement that he has, the strength to pull. So he ends up standing, and he pulls McGregor's leg up with him. McGregor still got the inside one, but he's now pulling up on it. Why? Because if I can widen your base and I can spread it, I can then affect your balance. Then they start turning in a circle, right? Turning in a circle. How does it end? Do you remember how it ends? I'll tell you exactly how it ends. Khabib goes for another crackdown, driving it. Not a single leg run in the pipe, a crackdown. They're different. He goes for the crackdown, and that's where McGregor makes his fatal mistake. Khabib drives this way with this shoulder down, the right shoulder. At that point, McGregor still is able to stuff it, but what he needs to do with a crackdown is you actually have to end up sort of kind of taking the back a little bit. You have to get their shoulder past you, and then you come around the back. He made the mistake of sticking his leg behind him. Did you guys remember that? And at that point, that was over. Once he made that mistake of sticking his leg behind him, that's when he just decided he was going to not defend it anymore. And I think he probably thought he was still defending it, because you think if I can just split my base and I can balance on my back leg, I'm good. What you're actually doing is you're now creating a weak plane to be taken behind you. At that point, Khabib blocks with the right hand, lifts with the left, turns him over, and drives him to the mat. Why did he scoop the legs and pull them up behind it? And then why does he always turn this direction off the fence? Because he's trying to get the knees and the hips higher than the shoulders, and he's trying to drive McGregor's back to the mat. Go back and watch that. The question about McGregor's wrestling in that sequence is, what's the best part of that? The best part of it is in open space, he was going takedown attempt with takedown defense, takedown attempt, takedown defense, and he knew what to do. You have to get behind the guy with your hands locked in sort of a C grip over the back through the crotch. You got to stay on top. You have to keep tight. You have to get your hips, your chest down. You have to be on top of it. You have to get behind and block that tricep, that arm from coming across the body. He did all those things. But when they stood up and Khabib was able to raise his leg again and then go back to the crackdown, he couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up. It's speed chess, and you're keeping up, and you're keeping up, and you're keeping up, and you're keeping up, and then finally the rook, takes queen or something, right? Whatever the analogy you want to use. So my response to that is, in looking at his wrestling, it's like, man, parts of that were really good, actually. and the quick awareness of what to do. But what I would say is you just don't have enough to keep up with the scrambling over time with Khabib. He's a very, very dynamic, committed scrambler. And the other part is go back and watch Khabib's shot. Remember, he reaches this way and ends up on this leg. What does that tell you? It tells you that McGregor recognizes the shot and sprawls, but he doesn't keep moving. He just sprawls and stays there, right? You got to sprawl and move, sprawl and angle, sprawl and angle, sprawl and angle. He never does it. He never does it. He just kind of sprawls. And then as a consequence, Khabib's able to get the leftover body parts. And once Khabib has this, and he even had it up to his like forearm, it's lights out, man. Like you're just not going to beat that guy with that. It's just never going to happen for you. Now, very quickly, I realize without the visual aid here, this is going to be a little harder to do. So I'm going to try and talk very quickly about the submission. First of all, he gets the takedown again, right? Where he gets tight waist, kicks the leg out, and then he does this bit where he's getting his hands in the gable grip, and you could see Khabib driving his shoulder behind the other shoulder, like rolling into it and then leaning into McGregor, making McGregor put his hands on the mat. When his hands are on the mat, you're carrying everybody else's weight, and then from there you can off-balance them or advance position with a variety of other attacks. You can then turn the direction, and you can go up into it. Go back and look at what we're talking about with Khabib, right? When Khabib was in there, he goes to the right, he can't get it. Conor makes a mistake, right? And puts his leg behind him. And then what happens? He's able to go the other direction. So Khabib is changing directionality the whole time. But eventually you'll see he kicks it out. Conor goes to his hands and he does the same thing. He reverses position, drives him backwards, and takes him down. From there, he's able to drive to mount pretty quickly. Conor does a good hip escape there to buy himself some time. Oh, look at this. Hey, look at that, Joe. MVP, huh? MV Joe. All right, they got it working. Let's go back a little bit then. Boys, you just saved my day, huh? And I can't show the video. Don't worry, Zuffa, I'm not going to show video. I'm just going to show slides. I'm not going to play any video. This is where I was talking about before. See him hanging on his hands? Look at McGregor here on his hands like that. It's awful. It's awful to be there. And it's not just that he's holding him by the waist and driving into him and leaning down. He's driving kind of behind the head into the shoulder socket a little bit. If you drive right over the top of that head, I think I want to say Kelvin Gastelum this happened to him by Chris Weidman. You can actually turn somebody over. But of course, he doesn't really do that, does he? He goes a bit the other direction. Let me see if I can find where it is. He's going to just turn around. Right here you see McGregor slump. And McGregor, by the way, doing a lot of fence grabbing with the toes, a lot of grabbing with the hands. People ask, oh, is that dirty? Yeah, of course. But if you've got this guy on top of you and you can tell each situation, like there can be times in grappling exchanges where you know it's just headed one direction. You know that this guy, you could put up a defense for a while, but they're going to find a way around it, and they're going to get the water in the room is going to get higher and higher and higher. You can feel it. You can feel it, and I think he felt that. To be quite clear about it. So here you can see he's got by the way, real quickly, he's got this elbow inside, which is right. That's the right thing to do, but you got to get it all the way across the body, and he doesn't have it. So he gets taken over here. Khabib is able to just put his weight behind it. Again, Khabib gets his hands together. It's over for you. I don't care who you are. And he's going to take him backwards, right? Look here, and watch this transition. This is one of my favorite transition. Rolls him back. He's got double unders, which is not necessarily the best grip to have, but he rolls him to the already strong side. He's already got a hook on this side, so he's going to roll him to the side with the hook. Then he's going to bring the free hook around, and McGregor tries to stuff it, which is the right thing to do, but it's not enough. Now McGregor's going to want to get his hips down like a baseball slide, and he's going to want to turn. And the reason why he's going to want to turn is because if he had the Marcelo Garcia over the top and then under the armpit, right? So the over the top comes, and then the one under the armpit holds it. That's always how it is, right? The one coming over the top is like stabbing the heart. The other one is the securing of the stab. He doesn't have that. He's got both underneath. You can spin inside of that. McGregor knows that. Khabib knows that. But in a fight, you got to make some tough choices, right? So what does he do here? He blocks the final hook for a moment. He gets pulled backwards here, and you're going to see, look at McGregor try and step because he wants to avoid that hook coming over the top. And then he's going to try and find a way to reverse like this. You're going to see he's going to try, and I think he's going to bring that bottom knee through, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I'm a little too far over. There we go. Let's see what he does here, frame by frame. Again, I'm not going to play the video one time. Now, Khabib is trying to lock this up, and you can see what McGregor's going to do is actually a little bit different. He posts his feet on the ground. His hips are now in the air. He's going to try and turn because there's nothing actually controlling his shoulders there, right? You're just on the rib cage. Nothing controlling the shoulders. Let me show you when this scramble is over. I'll show you exactly when it's over. Ready? Right? Well, first of all, he's lost his feet. So you could argue here, but I would not say that. Now the scramble's over. Why is that scramble over, Joe? Can you tell me? You can't tell me? That. He's already got his hips up. He's already off. He's already got an arm around the side. He could probably move it up here to the side of the throat if you wanted to. But here's the real reason why he won. He got to his elbow first. If you get, put yourself on the ground, just lay there, and then you can sit up and try to stand without putting a hand or an elbow on the ground. Try to roll over to the side and try to like boost your hips over. Without that elbow, you can't do it, but with not as well, but with the elbow, that elbow there, that is going to give him the posting mechanism he needs to bring his hips on top. And when he does, he's going to move right into mount. Watch. McGregor's going to try and sit up. He's going to try and put his feet on the ground, and it doesn't matter. Look whose hips are already higher, and look, where's he posting? Off of his toe, off of his elbow. You can't beat that. The scramble's over already. He's dead already. He just doesn't know it. Yeah? Watch. He's going to come right up top. And you can see McGregor just getting, look at that face. It's not a happy time, man. And Nurmagomedov just comes up on top. Now he brings his base back a little bit, which allows the knees to come up inside. I'll advance past this because they were talking about like, oh, he's got halfway towards a head and arm triangle. Not really. I mean, that wasn't really true. But I want to go back and point out here, in all of these situations, who's dictating the position? Who's dictating where the position goes? Who's dictating the control? It's that guy, right? Let's fast forward a little bit here. As I mentioned, this is what I'm talking about. He's got the arm in like here, so there's no choke there. And to get it out and to weave it back in would just be a little hard, so there's no choke there. I don't really care about that. You can see he's in 3/4 mount because the foot is still there. McGregor did a pretty good job of at least not totally giving up position. Here you can see him pass. Now, you're going to see McGregor use this elbow right here. He's going to put it against the hips, and he's going to try to get his hips past, right? Which he does right there. Now he's got like a knee shield, right, where the shin is across the hip. He's kind of got that a little bit there. Again, I don't have time to go into all of this. But here Khabib is setting up for the beginning of the end, right? Sort of forcing him to pick his poison, which direction he wants to go. He's banging on him, right? And by the way, just look at the body language, right? This is a terrible scene. You know, it's better to be on your hip than your back, so that's fine. But just look at and it's not that he's quit. It's not that. It's that he recognizes this is a terrible position with not a lot of easy ways to get to something good. Like you can read it in his body language. Khabib is just all over him to the point where any choice he makes, he doesn't like, literally if you see someone on the ground and they're kind of not doing a whole lot except like defending like the real obvious stuff, it's because they don't really know what to do, because if they make a choice, they don't want there to be a catastrophic counter. I think it's a little bit what you have here, plus fatigue. Okay, so then he moves, he tries to buck and roll here. Right, and then he moves to mount a little bit here, all the way up to mount. Now McGregor tries to roll to his base. Yeah, you all see that? Now let's go back just a little bit here. How does this choke get set up? All right, here we are. McGregor goes to his base. Look at McGregor's hands with the blue gloves. Yeah, it looks like Khabib's hand, but it's not. Look at the blue hands, right? No defense whatsoever, none. He is using all energy available to merely post his weight. Okay. You know, I understand that need, but if you do that against a guy like this, I don't have to say much after that. Now watch. He's going to come up, right? And he puts the forearm across the throat here. Not quite there. You can see the red gloves are the blue gloves are going to be the ones that you want to pay attention to, because those are the ones that are going to be doing all the hand fighting. All right, Khabib kind of rolls him off here a little bit to the side. And you can see here it is. He tries to drive that hand through, and it looks like he wants to get so it actually would be this way. And he wants to get a gable grip, right? That's what he's looking for. All right? Puts his head on top of the head. Why? Because even if it's an illegal shot, somebody can headbutt you. A lot of times people do rear naked chokes wrong all the time. Joe, you want to be on camera? You want to be choked? No? All right. A lot of people do rear naked chokes wrong all the time. They do the bicep grip, and then they kind of push their hand here. But if you put the hand where the palm is facing out, it's not nearly that strong of a position. People think you can push the head forward, but you really can't. And you can get the knuckles smacked in your face, so it's kind of hurt. So you actually want to make a fist, have the knuckles in the open palm face you, and then the head to the side, so it's this nice, tight, controlled space. That's actually the way to do it. Now, that's an ideal scenario. If you're in a fight, a gable grip might be enough. But here we go. So you can see him. He's not really hand fighting here, right? He's going to push up to his hands, and you're going to see Khabib drop his lats and then kind of pull and twist a little bit here. Even though the choke is on the left side of the body, the choke is here, but he's kind of pulling here a little bit that way. You're going to see that. He's pulling up, too, and driving his hips in. McGregor puts one hand up and doesn't even really hand fight because I think he kind of knew that this was not going to go his way. Here's the other thing about this, and I'll explain in just a second. You know, let's jump here a little bit, if we can, to the very end, so I can get a good look at here, this is what I wanted to look at. Now, he didn't do a lot of hand fighting, McGregor, which folks might dock him for. You could if you wanted to. Look at this submission. Folks are going to say, well, this is not a choke, and it's not, although it can become one. It's just a pain submission. But the reality is, this is no less of a pain submission than an armbar. What's happening here? He is squeezing the TMJ, the part of your jaw, and even down here, depending how it goes, where it fits into the groove. This submission, it's a new thing because so many people were ducking their chin. And you could say, well, if it is such a good submission, why even bother for the neck? Well, because the neck, if you get it right, you don't need to tap. They're gone, right? It's just you can just put them out. With this one, you have to apply some serious pressure. And here's the interesting part about that. You notice he didn't tap right away. The reason why he didn't tap right away is when you first get this locked on, it hurts, but it's not that bad. But when you keep squeezing and you keep squeezing and you keep squeezing, at first you're like, I can live with this, I can live with this, I can live with this. And then you get to a point where you're like, I cannot live with this anymore. And by the way, you can get your jaw broken this way. It's very possible. You can break it down here. You can even break it right where it fits into the socket. It's a very, very, very painful choke, or submission anyway. But it's just not painful. It's not peak painful at first. Like an armbar kind of goes 0 to 60 a little bit. This one takes a second to set in, which is why you see he he pulls his hand up here, right? And you can see Khabib kind of leaning over and pulling up a little bit. And then he just wants to tap. And look at that face. Look where he's getting pulled. He's getting pulled at the edge. It's getting gable gripped and then pulled like a razor across the top of a cutting board or something, right? And there it is. There's the tap. I wish I could have done more. We ran out of time. But I just want to point out here, this was a masterclass. I actually think he took the third round off. I know there's some debate about that on Twitter. I don't really think there should be. He came out and looked fresh as a daisy in the fourth round. I think he wanted to kind of see where things were in the third, dropping him in the second, and of course taking him down in the first. Real quickly, if I have just a minute. Yeah, I have just a minute. I want to show one thing. Here is that final sequence I was talking about. McGregor does so well here to defend, but this is where everything goes poorly for him, right? Look at this. He's got the leg across. That's going to stop him. He's got Tucky behind the tail to check in the oil there to keep his posture in the right position so he doesn't go too far down. He gets taken with a crack down, sort of, to his right. Watch this. I'm almost done, guys. I know we got to get to Fedor. This part is all right. Kind of stuff in the head. Needs to have his shoulders. You want to make sure that arm doesn't get across. He needs to kind of be on top, so the grip here is not great. But really the key mistake for me is not that. It's this one. He gets up to the side, and then now that's it. Struggle over. Watch. Khabib recognizes it, uses this hand to block this side, drives his weight underneath, turns him, and is going to pick him up. Look at the left foot right here. Watch that come up. He's going to pick him up, drive, and look at the triangle. There's nothing protecting him here, right? He puts the hand down, but there's nothing protecting him here. And he goes over. All right. And that's it. Look, picks him up and then takes him over. Look, there's nothing protecting him here. You can stop the first, you can stop the second, you can stop the third, you can stop all of those kinds of things. But in the end, if you just can't match this person over time, it's going to be a real bad day for you. That choke at the end, it wasn't in all the way as a choke, but as a pain submission, it was. It takes time to settle in. That's exactly what you saw. People talking about a rematch, he's going to need a long time in between the first and second fights if he wants to make up ground like this. This, to me, was not complete domination, but pretty damn close. Khabib Nurmagomedov is the best 155-pounder in the world. Argument over.